Before reggae music became a global movement, there was a young boy in Kingston whose voice could move mountains. A voice so rich, so soulful, it was said to bring joy to the brokenhearted and calm to the troubled. He wasn't just a singer, he was the sound of a nation, the heartbeat of the people. This is the full story of Dennis Emmanuel Brown, the Crown Prince of Reggae. If you find videos like these interesting or informative, then you can give this video a thumbs up. Dennis Brown was born on February 1st, 1957, at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital in Kingston, Jamaica. The youngest of 5 children, Dennis was raised in the heart of downtown Kingston, in a tenement yard between North and King Streets, a gritty cultural hotspot that shaped some of Jamaica's finest talents. His father, Arthur Brown, was a well-respected actor and a scriptwriter, and his older brother, Basil, was a popular radio personality. Creativity and performance were part of the household, but even then, no one could have predicted the impact young Dennis would go on to have. From as early as age 5, Dennis would sing along to American ballads on the radio. Inspired by crooners like Nat King Cole, Sam Cooke, and Brooke Benton, his voice stood out even as a child. At just 9 years old, he made his first professional debut, performing with the Fabulous Falcons at the Tit for Tat Club in Kingston, a nightclub far from the type of venue you'd expect to see a child enter. But Dennis wasn't like other kids. His maturity and depth, even at that young age, left audiences stunned. By the time he was 12, Dennis had already recorded his first single, No Man is an Island, for Studio One, under the legendary producer Clement Coxon Dodd. The song became an anthem in Jamaica and immediately placed Dennis on the musical map. Throughout the 1970s, he recorded prolifically, collaborating with the big names of Jamaican producers such as Joe Gibbs, Winston Niney Holness, and Light Chalmers, just to name a few. He became known for his smooth delivery and a deep emotional resonance, and his lyrics touched on love, pain, politics, and Rastafari spirituality. Dennis wasn't just a singer, he was a soul communicator. He sang songs that uplifted, inspired, and soothed the spirit. His voice was mature beyond his years, so much so that Bob Marley once called Dennis Brown his favorite singer. As reggae music began to rise globally in the late 1970s, Dennis was at the forefront. His song, Money in My Pocket, became a massive hit, not just in Jamaica, but internationally, especially in the UK, where reggae was becoming a powerful underground force. In the 1980s, Dennis signed with A&M Records and released albums that helped bridge roots reggae with lovers rock and mainstream audiences. His albums, Foul Play and Love Has Found Its Way, introduced him to a broader crowd without compromising his roots. But Dennis did not lose touch with Jamaica. He could fill up a stadium in London one week and the next be found voicing a track in a tiny downtown Kingston studio. He lived and breathed music, often recording 3 to 4 songs in a single day. He was instrumental in shaping the lovers rock genre, a smoother, more romantic side of reggae. Artists like Maxi Priest, Sanchez, and Freddie McGregor owe part of their style and career to the groundwork Dennis laid. But behind the scenes, Dennis Brown was human, flawed, burdened, and overworked. As the demand for his music grew, so too did the pressures of the industry. Like many artists in Jamaica during that time, Dennis struggled with the fast-paced life and the lure of drugs. His battle with cocaine would become one of the darker shadows cast over his otherwise shining legacy. Despite these personal struggles, Dennis continued to perform, tour, and record relentlessly. He was known to be incredibly humble, always giving younger artists advice and often helping them record demos for free. Many insiders in the Jamaican music industry remember him not just as a star, but as a brother and a mentor. But little known to most fans, Dennis was also deeply spiritual. A devoted Rastafarian, he infused his songs with biblical references and teachings. Behind the romantic ballads, there was always a deeper message of redemption, love, and African pride. In the late 1990s, Dennis's health began to deteriorate. Years of drug use and constant touring had taken a toll on his body. After a tour of Brazil, he returned to Jamaica feeling ill and was admitted to the University Hospital of the West Indies. He was diagnosed with pneumonia. And on July 1st, 1999, the world lost one of its greatest reggae voices. He was just 42 years old.
It's a tremendous loss to music, especially at this time when the music is already in decline. I was sitting down with Dennis Brown on the studio floor, I can remember, and look at me and say, "Youth, keep it up, you're going to go far," and smile, you know. And trust me, that smile and what he said to me is worth more than gold up to today.
He is perhaps the greatest hit maker this country has ever produced.
As a lovers rock artist, I admire his mellowness, his ability to really plumb the depths of emotions. His style is a style that draws people. I mean, I can count probably on 10 fingers and more of all the artists that come up sounding like Dennis Brown, including myself. I have no positive evidence of Dennis's drug taking, but I would not be surprised about it.
Dennis, in his last days, seemed somewhat disconnected. I had the sad experience of working with him about a year ago in Grand Cayman, and he really didn't seem himself.
He was such a gentle person, really highly respectful.
One would have had to go to Sunsplash and wait for the sun to come up and for Dennis Brown to make his appearance on stage. That is something that you couldn't call yourself a genuine reggae-phile unless you went through that rite of passage.
Jamaica mourned. Thousands gathered for his funeral, including Prime Minister P.J. Patterson at the time and opposition leader Edward Seaga. But it wasn't just a funeral. It was a state farewell to a cultural titan. Dennis Brown was laid to rest at the National Heroes Park in Kingston, a final resting place reserved for Jamaica's most honored sons and daughters. Today, Dennis Brown's legacy continues to echo across generations. His music, more than 75 albums strong, is still played in dance halls, on radio stations, and through the speakers of cars rolling through downtown Kingston. His influence lives in artists like Beres Hammond, Chronixx, and Romain Virgo, who carry the torch of emotional, soulful reggae. In 2011, Dennis was posthumously awarded the Order of Distinction Commander Class by the government of Jamaica, a recognition that was long overdue. Perhaps the greatest testament to Dennis Brown's impact is the love he still receives from fans around the world. From Trenchtown to Tokyo, London to Lagos, people still sing along to Revolution, Love and Hate, Here I Come, and How Could I Leave? Dennis Brown was more than just a reggae singer. He was a voice for the people, a healer through music, and a light in dark times. Though his life was cut short, his message lives on. And as long as reggae music plays, the voice of the Crown Prince will never be silenced. Rest in power, Dennis Emmanuel Brown. Long live the King. Thank you all for watching. Stay blessed.